Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a topic that's a little bit, well, it's heavy. We're talking about collapsing first world countries. This isn't about rubbernecking at disaster, it's about understanding the complex issues that can impact even the seemingly most stable societies. We're going to look at some of the warning signs, the contributing factors, and maybe, just maybe, find some glimmers of hope along the way. So if you're ready to learn something new, to think critically about the world around us, then stick around. Our first stop takes us to country name, a nation once lauded for its economic prosperity. Today, however, our country name paints a different picture, one of economic stagnation and social unrest. One of the major contributors is the decline of country name's manufacturing sector. Country name built its wealth on, mention a specific industry, but as global markets shifted and automation increased, those industries began to crumble. Thousands of jobs were lost, leaving many communities struggling to stay afloat. The government, already grappling with rising healthcare costs and an aging population, found itself ill-equipped to handle this large-scale unemployment. As unemployment rose in country name, so did poverty and crime. Social programs were stretched thin, leading to a decline in public services and infrastructure. People became disillusioned with the government, with the system, with the very idea of country name as a place of opportunity. It's important to remember that we're not just talking about numbers on a graph here. We're talking about real people, real lives that are impacted by these economic downturns. Our journey now brings us to country name, a nation grappling with the devastating effects of political instability. While economic hardship can certainly weaken a country's foundation, political turmoil can shake it to its very core. In the case of country name, years of mentioned specific political issues, for example, corruption, authoritarianism, eroded public trust in the government and sowed seeds of discontent among the populace. This discontent, fueled by social inequality and a lack of economic opportunity, eventually boiled over into widespread protests and civil unrest. Political instability is rarely a sudden eruption. It's often the culmination of years, sometimes decades, of underlying tensions and unresolved grievances. When a government loses its legitimacy in the eyes of its people, it creates a breeding ground for instability. And this instability can manifest in countless ways. Violent uprisings, military coups, the rise of extremist ideologies. The rule of law breaks down, essential services collapse, and fear becomes the pervasive atmosphere. People lose faith not only in their government, but in each other, tearing apart the very fabric of society. Country name is a stark reminder that political stability is not a given. It's something that must be constantly nurtured and protected. Our exploration of collapsing first world countries takes us now to country name, a nation facing a different kind of threat, one that's not solely rooted in economics or politics, but in the very environment itself. For decades, country name thrived on industries that, while profitable, came at a steep environmental cost. Deforestation, pollution, overfishing. The consequences of these actions, once distant warnings, are now impossible to ignore. Climate change has intensified, leading to more frequent and severe natural disasters. Coastlines are eroding, farmlands are turning to dust, and water resources are dwindling. The very land that once sustained country name is now turning against it. We're seeing mass displacement as people are forced to flee their homes due to rising sea levels or desertification. We're seeing conflicts erupt over dwindling resources. We're seeing entire ways of life vanish as ecosystems collapse. Country name serves as a stark reminder that environmental sustainability is not a luxury, it's a necessity. Our next stop takes us to country name, a nation grappling with a different kind of challenge, a demographic crisis. In the case of country name, the problem is twofold: a declining birth rate and an aging population. For years, country name has had one of the lowest birth rates in the developed world, meaning fewer young people are entering the workforce. At the same time, life expectancy has increased, leading to a larger elderly population that requires more healthcare and social services. This combination creates a demographic imbalance, with fewer working-age people to support a growing dependent population. The demographic crisis in country name has far-reaching consequences. It puts a strain on social safety nets like pensions and healthcare systems. It leads to labor shortages which can stifle economic growth. Country name stands as a cautionary tale, a reminder that demographic trends matter. Addressing these challenges requires a multifaceted approach, from encouraging higher birth rates to reforming immigration policies to creating a more age-friendly society. Our final destination takes us to country name, a nation once at the forefront of innovation, now struggling to keep pace in the rapidly evolving technological landscape. In today's hyper-connected world, technological advancement is no longer a luxury, it's a matter of survival. Countries that fall behind risk becoming increasingly isolated, both economically and geopolitically. So, what happened in country name? How did a nation once known for its ingenuity find itself lagging behind? Well, there's no single answer, but several contributing factors have played a role. One is a lack of investment in research and development. Innovation requires constant investment, both from the public and private sectors. Unfortunately, country name has been slow to adapt to the changing needs of the global economy. Another factor is a rigid education system that hasn't kept pace with the demands of the digital age. To compete in a world driven by technology, you need a workforce that's equipped with the right skills and knowledge. The consequences of technological stagnation are significant. Country name is seeing a decline in its global competitiveness, with businesses struggling to keep up with their international counterparts. The digital divide is widening, with certain segments of the population being left behind in the digital revolution. Thank you for joining me on this journey, for taking the time to learn about these complex issues. If you found this video informative, please give it a thumbs up and consider sharing it with your friends and family. Let's keep these conversations going. Let's challenge ourselves to think critically about the world around us, because ultimately the future is not something that just happens to us, it's something we create together. Thanks again for watching.